Seven's a lot. I go live and a bunch of people show up. And suddenly, it's on a background noise. I heard more. I heard more Chinese swear words tonight than I think I've heard in the last 5 years. A bunch of customers sitting over there. There was just like every other word. Matthew, fist bump to you. Thanks for joining us. Every other swear word was like really bad stuff. Anyway, I tried to put a title in, and I'm not really sure if the title, completely made it. I have an announcement about a new Happs channel. Now I realize this is kind of a haphazard way of doing it. To allow that. But anyway, I'm simulcasting on the usual programs. Gallardo, fist bump to you. Always a pleasure to see you. With Happs, I said this before the other day. I did the camera way far away because it doesn't seem to be as wide angle. I don't know why that is. Every app utilizes the camera as it is. So, Jan, how are you? Nice to have you with us, Jan. Great. Jan, are you on YouTube or are you joining us on Happs? Important question. And Peter, Pablo, if you guys are watching, please, all you have to do, please, is make the comments that I see on the interface, make them burn to the stream optionally, like just a check mark, please. I want these comments to burn. Food is good, man. You want to see it? You want to see it, don't you? Okay. This is it. Broccoli and onions deep fried. Of course, this is cayenne pepper down here. And this is a combination of white pepper and salt. Dave, how you doing, bro? Fist bump to you. This is really dark marinated pork. And these are those bacon wraps that I get that have asparagus in them. And this is his signature. Look at this. This is marinated pork. Wow, it's amazing. Marinated pork. Okay, well, now here's the thing. Jan, the reason that I asked you if you're on YouTube is because I'm about to do something as a Happs exclusive. Now, I know some people think I've been very difficult or very hard on Happs, and when it comes to technology, I am a demanding person. It's because I'm used to being able to perform to a certain level of technical proficiency, and I just think everybody else should be able to too. But being that as it may, Happs.tv is a platform that I intend to use for another live streaming channel just for my studio, and I'm going to publicly chat the name of it. With Happs, I guess they use the @ symbol, so it's this. That didn't work. Yeah, this is it. That is it. Okay. So did that actually, this is going to drive me nuts. Okay. Okay. And let me do this. And I think, come on, man. Oh, there you go. That's what I'm trying to say. Phoenix Media Forge is a new, for me, a new Happs channel for my studio. Now, you guys have seen me do studio stuff from, you know, on Time and Light TV. You see me do studio stuff on Time and Light TV, and it's gone to, YouTube, it's gone to Periscope, it's gone to Twitch, it's gone to Facebook. What I'm going to do with this channel is exclusive to Happs. I'm going to tell you why in a second. It's because I'm not going to get hassled on Happs. Now, you can say whatever you want about Happs, and I've been critical about certain things from a technological standpoint. But the absolute truth is that Happs is quite a safe space. P-Days, how are you? Nice to have you with us. All right. So, all the old friends are joining us. It's great. I've been talking a lot with Dave in Osaka. You guys know Dave. Dave actually has a lot of influence on me in a positive way. You guys know Dave too. And you love Dave just like me. So often, I run things by him. I only have two or 3 days of, offline, going back and forth messaging about things, right? But here's what I want to do. And Dave feels that this would be a pretty good thing to do with a new channel. We've all seen shows like Rick Beato's What Makes This Song Great. And Rick Beato he's great. And I love him. And the stuff that he says, I can so much relate to it as a producer. And he's telling you these real stories, and they're funny and they're hilarious. And he did an incredible video about the song More Than a Feeling from the band Boston. I've kind of a personal connection with that song just because I met Brad Delpin and Tom Schultz, at a young age. I was 20 years old when I met them. And he talks about some of the things with the tracks, but mostly about the structure of the song and how things were sung and played. And it's really, really good. But what I want to do with my new Happs channel is I want to go where no other channel's gone before. I want to take a deep, deep dive into the recording engineering. I want to go not behind the music. I want to go behind the mix, behind the engineering. I want to start out with that song, More Than a Feeling. I want to solo the tracks in my studio and play the individual tracks, the kick drum, the snare drum, the bass tracks, the guitar tracks, everything. I want to explain to you why they sound like they sound. And I want you to hear me do manipulations of those tracks, adding equalization, compression, effects, we can build our own custom mix together. Now, to do a custom mix right takes hours and hours. I don't expect you to hang on, excuse me, for a live stream for 6 hours. But what I want to do with my new channel is to explore the genius of these famous, I'm going to say vintage recordings, the genius behind the people that created them. And I don't want there to be any doubt that the leader of the band Boston, Tom Schultz, is a genius. More than you realize, because you wouldn't have any way of really knowing that. But I would like to show you. So that is what I want to do with my new show. Before I start my new show, I have some recording to do for myself. I have already composed some theme song music for it. I'm going to record it over this week. And then I'll have to do like a video introduction and things that can do that. So I can do all of this from the Happs web interface. And I can show you all the tracks for the songs lined up in Reaper, and I will be using an actual console. Yeah. And then showing you the individual tracks, why they sound how they do, and probably take an educated guess based on several decades of recording and engineering and actually in Boston, which is funny. And just my general take. But I want to whet your appetite. I'm going to start out with that. Initial song, More Than a Feeling. Everybody knows that song. It's absolutely incredible. But I have more. I'm going to get into a deep dive with Queen. Now you have to keep up with me and pay attention. But I'm going to show you behind the mix of Bohemian Rhapsody. And I'm going to solo those tracks too. And show you things like, for example, what Brian May's incredible guitar solo sounds like by itself, in the clear, nothing else. Recently, a famous music magazine did a survey on, what was the greatest guitar solo ever performed. And Brian May won that category for the solo in Bohemian Rhapsody. And I will tell you from the bottom of my heart, yeah, he won it. I have heard soloed in my studio on my recording monitors Brian May's lead guitar solo on Bohemian Rhapsody. It's the neck and bridge pickup out of phase. I can hear the headphone bleeds while it's going, sometimes I've never been born at all. Just that really muffled, right? And then he hits it, and it plays a solo. And, there's hum on it. There's noise on it. It's, it's just got, it's such a raw, just, and the talent on display is staggering, and it's raw too. And so I want to take that. That's going to be a tough mix to do because it's a long song with many, many elements. But I'm not going to start out with Bohemian Rhapsody. I have another Queen song in mind. But the next show that I do, the very first show that I do on the Phoenix Media Forge studio, Happs, channel, and this will not be available on YouTube. This will not be available on Periscope. Even though I have channels there, I'm not going to put these streams on those platforms due to issues. I don't want to get into it. It's going to be exclusive to Happs. But I suggest Jan and other of my followers who may not be on Happs to please go to happs.tv and just, be prepared to watch the stream there. You don't have to sign up for it. You can if you want. If you sign up for it, then you can subscribe and you can get notifications, but you don't absolutely have to. So that is the story. Now I do have my Instagram and Twitter accounts for Phoenix Media Forge linked. So when I go live on Happs, you should, in theory, get a notification on Twitter. So even if you don't want to sign up for Happs, and you don't have to, it's just a website. It's Happs, HAPPS.tv. You still can get notifications through Twitter. So thanks, John. How you doing, John? John, I appreciate I'm just checking it. I appreciate the high five, man. I look younger. Well, thank you. I'm going to be 65 next month. And I've been heavily investing in the anti-aging, technology. It's paying off. The funny thing is, right, as I get my, in Taiwan, John, we have the Jimbao system here, right? And when you turn 65, whatever company you work for, they got to prepare 600,000 NT, right? So my wife's mad because she's got to do 600,000 NT on paper to give me for my retirement. She's the accountant. I'm going to scroll back. John said something, and it's valid. He said, "Surprised to see you here in Happs." Well, I like Happs. I like Peter, I like Pablo. Most people here, I already know. A lot of people in Happs I know personally, like yourself. It's just there were some technological barriers, and one of them was the landscape issue. But here I am, look, I'm broadcasting in landscape. I just wish that the multimedia capabilities, on the web interface were available on the mobile, but then they're kind of getting into Periscope territory. If I could get anything that I wish, it would be that Happs would release an API so I can use Prism Live Stream and broadcast to Happs, and I would never broadcast anywhere else I would be at. So Fides is asking me, you're asking me, what did I learn from life? Well, let me expand on that. There is an internet personality that calls herself Life, or is it? And that's the life that I've learned from. I have learned that yes, there are people who have attraction that's off the scale, beauty that's difficult to even quantify, and yet they are extremely nice people and even bother to interact with me. And that's what I learned from life. They do. Because I can do this, everybody can do that one, right? Yeah, everybody can do that. But I don't see where this is just a reading messages. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. But yeah, live streaming is kind of the great equalizer in a lot of respects. It's only like super nasty people that criticize others for how they look. But here in the live streaming community, people want to connect with an intellect, the intellect of the streamer, and they're more than likely more interested in what the live streamer is trying to get across rather than how eloquently they can speak or how amazingly handsome they are. I mean, come on. There's a reason why, as a national radio talk show host, I'm not a movie star. Hey, Chi. Oh, need some Macau, eh? Oh, some Macau down. That was Winman's kid, man. She's beautiful. She called me by name. But I said, oh, you're so tall. You're so beautiful. She's grown up now. She's the same age as my daughter. She's like 3 weeks younger than my daughter. But of course, Phoenix is considerably taller than her, because I'm taller. I'm taller than her parents. Chi. So, 你好. Oh. Just say hi, but didn't want to stop. But there you go. So I didn't actually want to have like a whole lot to talk about. We're supposed to come on Sunday night, and Sunday night and Thursday night's my time on my normal slots to live stream. And when I don't come on during those slots, people get upset. I don't understand why. I appreciate it. I really do. But I was out of it, man. Super tired. Just not making it. Couldn't do it. So that's Tuesday. Usually don't do anything on Tuesday. So it's perfect time to come on. So I made the decision. And so I made the new Happs channel. That's a good question. Well, that would depend on a couple things. If, say, for example, let's just say there was a school event and I met some other parents of my daughter's, classmates. They didn't really know me. they would invite me over, and they might ask my wife, can he eat Taiwanese food? Seriously. I've been asked that before. Let me give you a little background. Years ago, like 2002, I came to Taiwan. I was out with some friends and a gentleman who I'd never met before, but he was the host. He's going to, pay for everything. And he got the menu and he looked at it and just studied it hard. What he said to me is going to sound ridiculous to people listening to me. But you got to understand how much I appreciated what he said because he was completely sincere. But he apologized and he said, they don't serve hamburgers at this restaurant. And I know how important hamburgers are to Americans, and I know that American people have to eat hamburgers every day. And he was dead serious. Most people would have laughed their head off. What are you talking about? He didn't know. He obviously didn't know. He's been a victim of bad information. But I appreciated his concern and his sincerity. I did not laugh at him. I did not belittle him or make fun of him at all. I just basically said words to the effect of, well, I'm not the typical American, and my range of cuisine is a lot broader. And that put him at ease. See, I didn't want to make him feel bad about saying something that was ridiculously ignorant. It wasn't his fault. Excuse me. So you have to deal with this. And I think you always have to deal with people from the standpoint of what their motivation is. He had no intention whatsoever of insulting me at all. He was honoring me, okay? And I chose to honor him in return. That's how I feel. But Taiwanese who know me, know my favorite dishes, it'll usually be, of course, most of the cuisine is similar to Chinese. It'll have like a Taiwanese flavor, but it's wok fried, quick fried. But one of my favorites, like my wife's sister makes for me, is deep fried oysters, Taiwan style. Oh. If the host goes to a lot of trouble, they want to cook something really impressive, they might cook something called dong po luo, which is like a big hunk of marinated pork with the rind and the skin on it, But it's usually home style food, which means it might be sweet potato leaves with garlic. It might be bamboo shoots with some Japanese mayonnaise on it. It might even be asparagus, but it's going to be other kind of vegetables like what we call aisai. Might be like Cai, which is like kale. It might be gaoli cai, which is cabbage with bacon. There'll be some kind of a really nice meat dish, pork or beef. It might be with onions. It might be with mushrooms. Sometimes they'll do a fried egg dish with green onions and white pepper, things like this. Various sauces. See, we like variety. In American cuisine, you go to somebody's house and it's usually a meat and maybe one or two side dishes. Meat and potatoes, might be meat. It might be potatoes. It might be some kind of greens, like maybe beans or something, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Take like a slice of roast beef on your big plate, mashed potatoes, some gravy, and maybe some beans. And there's may be appetizers, there may be salad and things like that. But in Taiwan, the dishes tend to be smaller and more of them. So thank you, Mr. Hammerstrand. Thank you. And so we often joke in Taiwan, we'll have 3 or 4 people and we'll say, we need to call some friends to come down and join us for lunch just so we can have more dishes, because every person will order a different dish. So now, instead of just having, 3 dishes, because I got me and 2 friends, if I got 7 or 8 friends, hey, there's 7 or 8 dishes on the table. And on a lazy Susan, we pass them around and we take a little bit, right? We don't have a big plate and go to the serving dish and load it up, and that's kind of it. We take smaller portions. It's not rude to take a lot of smaller portions. It's also not rude to reach across the table and do that if there's no lazy Susan. So people don't do that. Soup desserts, yeah, are common. Desserts in Taiwan are, well, actually all over Asia are completely different. Like in Thailand, it's usually like coconut and coconut milk and sweet condensed milk and things like that. But in Taiwan, they have a lot of red and green bean, but mostly red desserts. There's one from Indonesia called mumojaja, which is pretty interesting, and they have that here in Taiwan. So yeah, not at the same time, because the kitchen has to, has to put them out, but they come as close to possible at the same time. Yes, you order, and I gotta tell you, restaurants are quick here. So no, John, no, you're not ghosting. It's probably me. If you said something I haven't seen, it's probably me. I'm sorry. And John knows too, because John's familiar with it's a lot the same as in Hong Kong. But you'll order and the dishes come out really quick. The first dish will come out in like 3 or 4 minutes, and then and sometimes I hear Taiwanese people complain the dishes are taking too long. It's been 5 minutes. It's like the first couple dishes will come out, and they try to come out within 5 minutes of each other, so they're all there. Because what happens is, this always happens. If one dish comes out and it's 10 minutes for the next one, then everybody eats that dish and they just kind of fill up on it. So I see. Interesting. I don't know why. Oh yes. Okay. No, actually, I saw that, John, and I responded to it. Maybe I'm sorry. Yeah, I said I got nothing against Happs. I just had some technological issues like landscape, so now I can broadcast on landscape. But I like the climate. I like the people. I like Peter. I like Pablo. It's just that I wasn't gonna broadcast in landscape and portrait on live. So that's the thing. I just that's it for me. And the web interface crashed on me a couple times and let me down, so I wasn't willing to trust it again. So that's kind of a problem. So Fides, there's a lag for me. Well, maybe I'm not a big enough channel to get bumped up to the high-speed service. I'm going to tell you, but I will say this. I'm seeing the comments here, and I'm going like this, and they're scrollable. I would love to see that burn to the stream, because the only main drawback now is a chat playback. It's no good. I don't like watching past replays because the broadcaster says No, blah, blah, blah. And oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And you know what he's talking about. Which is why when Prism went to that chat firm, that was just my ultimate setup would be for Happs to release an API that would give, connection from Prism, allow Prism broadcast, and allow Prism to capture all the comments on their widget and burn it on a stream. And this is where I would be broadcasting. I have no problems whatsoever with Happs as a platform. My only complaints were with interface only. So it was stuttering for me a lot. I remember I saw a really nice scope by JL walking around, and it would freeze every couple of seconds as he would do things. That's annoying. That seems, though, to be better. So anyway, please, what I'd like you to do, see you, John. Take care. Thanks for joining. Please subscribe to Phoenix Media Forge on Happs. I'm going to prepare a broadcast. The inaugurative or inauguration broadcast of that channel will be a deep dive into the engineering involved in one of the most, in my opinion, the best rock song ever recorded and produced, More Than a Feeling by the band Boston. We're going to go through it track by track, explain to you what's going on, explain to you why it's so amazing. I gotta tell you, I listened to those tracks in my studio. I was 20 years old when that song came out, and it was like it came out of the future. The band didn't sound like they were from the 70s. It sounded like they were from the 21st century. And from that point on, they only got better. So there you go. What does this do down here in the corner? I don't even know. There's stuff on the interface. I don't know what it does. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Onions. Oh my goodness. Wow, that got me. But I got time. I'm doing what I always do, just munching on my food. I just, it's not like Prism. I can't show you anything. Can't show any videos. I can't show any bumpers or any, pictures or anything. I got my cinnamon rum. This bump Dean. What does up here? I guess. What does the title say? Should say late night, the day. It should say announcement. My new channel on Happs. And what the name of it is. This is what the title should say. Will you stop doing that? Did it go out? See, I have have a chat box or a chat input, text input box. And there's an arrow, that you press to send it. And sometimes you press the arrow. That is it. That's what I'm trying to say. Boy, that took a long time. That is what the title of this broadcast should actually be. New Happs channel, Phoenix Media Forge. And the thing is Happs has been notoriously stingy on the length of the titles. With Prism, you're allowed 100 characters, and I think that's the YouTube limit. That right there is, in fact, tonight's broadcast announcement. New Happs channel, Phoenix Media Forge. I've been giving this a lot of thought, and I'm going to take some of the stuff that I had done on Top of Live TV and completely port it over to Phoenix Media Forge. That doesn't mean I'm not going to do a stream on Time Live like a late night show, never from the studio again. It's just that the music stuff that I'm going to do, I'm going to emphasize on the studio channel. And so for the last week or so, I've been working on some of the technical issues, the technical challenges and obstacles that come with trying to encode a live stream with stereo audio at the same time you're using the machine to play back, multi-tracks of audio, because my studio uses a Dante audio network. That is, I don't use audio over Ethernet. Excuse me, over USB. My audio is over Ethernet. But the audio going to the Happs interface will be USB. So what I'm going to have to do is on the inaugural broadcast of Phoenix Media Forge, I'm going to have to just turn it on and see if it works. And if it doesn't, I'm going to have to use a second machine to encode the video and just take the audio feed from the studio computer. But it should be okay. So I'm only going to be adding camera and 2-channel USB. So I can't wait, because all my life I have absolutely loved this song. And I made some discoveries about this song early on that I'm going to share with you. Because one of the things I'm going to do when I introduce this song, Meter, how are you? Fist bump to you. Nice to see you. Thank you. When I introduce this song to you and I start soloing the tracks, I'm going to reveal a very, very important aspect about how Tom Schultz played the 12-string guitar in the introduction of the song. And my whole life, I don't recall everybody ever having played it correctly. There's something always missing. I know what the key is. I'm going to play the track, let you listen to it. I'm going to play it on the 12-string guitar really slowly and show you the proper way to play the introduction to More Than a Feeling. not recently, I mean, quite recently actually, not long ago, I saw somebody that did like an acoustic guitar version of More Than a Feeling, and they had a violin soloist play the violin parts. This makes a lot of sense. And even he did not get the acoustic guitar, 12-string acoustic guitar part correct. There's something missing, and I want to show that to you. And when you see it, your jaw's going to drop, and you're going to go, oh, of course. But I'm going to tell you, it took me years of listening to that song to figure it out. And one day in my own studio, I was listening to that song because it's just an astonishing song. And suddenly it hit me like a ton of bricks. Of course. That's what's missing. It's amazing, though. So this is the kind of things I'm going to bring you on my new channel. And so with that, I'm going to say goodnight, finish the rest of this deliciously salty, greasy, spicy Taiwanese food. Some of my cinnamon rum. I'll see you on Sunday. But before then, I'll see you on Thursday. In the intervening time, I'm going to record and put together the new audio and video introduction for my new channel. And I hope you like it. Bernardo, how you doing? Fist bump to you. Let's get ready to sign off, Bernardo. So you guys know me. You know what I'm like. So it's my express intention of bringing you a very, very high quality presentation of the engineering behind the mix. This is something you can do for me. You can let me know in the comments. I gotta come up with a title. Because you've got VH1 behind the music, and you've got like Rick Beato's like, what makes this sound great? But I want to talk about the tracks. I want to talk about the engineering. I want to talk about the performance. I want to talk about the mix. So I'm thinking about, like I watch some of these aviation channels, and they'll say things like, the insane engineering of the Warthog, the insane engineering of the Raptor. It could be maybe the insane engineering of it, but I'm thinking more like maybe, behind the mix, I don't know, behind the console, something like that. That shows you I'm going to give you a recording engineer's and record producers perspective of what these tracks sound like when you bring them up on a console. I'm going to solo all these tracks. I'm going to hear the bass by itself, the individual drums by themselves, the vocals and things that are just so incredible that make this record what it is. So I got to come up with a really good name. I don't know. Deep dive is kind of like a new buzzword, so maybe it could be, deep dive into the mix, or just, MJ's deep dive. I don't know. That almost sounds like a porn movie, so I got to be careful about doing that. So once you give me an idea, okay, come up with something and put it in the comments, and if I like it, I'll use it. And I'll tell everybody you came up with it. So that'd be good. So, all right, I'm out of here. Thank you. I got some salty, greasy, spicy food and some cinnamon rum. I was going to relax and check it out. Watch my replay and see how much of an idiot I sound like. Thanks so much, you guys. You take care. Have a good night. It's always a pleasure. Love you guys.